Gene, how are you, man?
I'm great, and you? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. So I just want to say that by thank you for taking the time to connect with me. And I have to say that I'm kind of anxious because it's the first time I'm doing it for a while. So please bear with me, but we're gonna have a great time. Um,
First time doing it for what?
I haven't done this in a while. My last interview was a year ago, because I
Oh,
had some stuff. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna have a great time. So thank you for agreeing to do this.
yeah, it'll be a good warm up.
Yeah. So let's just start by asking what's been keeping you busy lately? I heard that you have a book coming out soon. So yeah, how has it been?
Busy. The writing a book is it's a lot of work. We've been at it for a year now, and it's been an interesting process. But we're in edits now. I've handed in the manuscript, and we're working on the cover. And yeah, we're on schedule for November of 26 release. So pretty excited about it.
Okay, so the cover that you shared on social media isn't actually the real cover of your book. It was just
No,
okay.
yeah, no, that's just a landing page. That's not the real cover. I mean, it was something along the lines of what I had in mind, but we hadn't gotten to that phase yet in the publishing,
Okay,
scheme
great.
of things. So yeah, we do have a cover now, which is we've got a front runner, which I can't show anybody yet, but I'm liking it a lot.
Okay, great. Can't wait to see it. So the book is coming out in the fall. Is that right?
Yeah, I think probably November, right around Thanksgiving.
Okay, great. So it's going to make the perfect Christmas gift then.
Perfect Christmas. Anybody that loves Dawson's Creek is going to absolutely love this book. It's just, it goes through, not only my experience, coming in second season and everything that, I went through as Jack McPhee, but,
Mhm.
just the entire show itself. Some episodes or some chapters we actually dive into certain episodes and, dissect them. The more popular episodes, we get into casting, behind the scenes, how the show actually came about, which was a lot of stuff. It was 10 years in the making that I
Yeah.
didn't know any of this. So it was really interesting to me too.
And why do you feel that now was the right time to do it? Like, what inspired you to take this step at this point of your life rather than perhaps say 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was just, I had been thinking about this idea for a few years now, maybe
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 years. And a publisher reached out to me a little over a year ago and just said, "Hey, you got a good story. Let's get the, you want to put this in print." And I thought, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. Maybe it's time. 10 years ago, no, I don't think I would have done it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of heat around Dawson's Creek the last couple years. We've been getting together for these reunions, and then everything that's happened lately is just, I don't really want to get into it, but it's been a rough couple of weeks for all of us. But yeah, I think it's just a really good time, and I think everybody will really appreciate something like this coming out in the fall.
Sure. And it must be pretty special to get to see yourself at different stages of your lives. And when you look back at your earlier work and perhaps revisit old interviews, what stands out to you now? Like, has anything surprised you or perhaps have been difficult to reconnect with?
You mean in terms of projects?
Yeah, yeah. Because while preparing this book, you had to go back in time and, watch episodes and watch old interviews of yourselves. And I wonder, it must be pretty special. And what stands out to you now? Has anything surprised you by seeing yourself or have been difficult to reconnect with because it was perhaps a hard time back then for you?
Back then, uh, I'll tell you one thing, it is kind of difficult to watch yourself when you were first starting, because I had started acting in 95, so I was pretty green when I did the show. Um, it's pretty tough to watch yourself in those beginning years of figuring it all out and learning how to actually, do some decent work. So that's a little tough for me. And ironically enough, it was tough back then too. Like as a new actor, you can't really watch yourself. It's a very difficult thing to get over. And then over the years, you're like, no big deal. So I kind of went full circle on that. It's very strange. The other weird thing for me was that in my mind, at least what I could remember, it seems like yesterday, but when you're watching this stuff, it was 25 years ago. I mean, that's insane
Hmm.
that era of my life was that, decades ago. And just, I don't know. I still hold a really big place in my heart for Dawson's and Wilmington and all those guys. And, it's obviously a big piece of my life. And it was fun to revisit that a lot. It really was.
And right, preparing this conversation, I also had to do some research on you, watch the Sun's Creek for the first time, and I'm kind of enjoying it because I love 90s show. I think that they are the best. And I came across something that you mentioned about Kevin Williamson. I think it was at a panel during Comic-Con. I don't remember. But basically, you said that each character of the show reflected a different aspect of his own personality, and that your character connected to his sexuality. And I wanted to ask you, out of all the characters that you've played, which, let's say, three do you feel represents parts of who you are the most, and why those?
Wow, deep question. Um, well, I'll say, every actor works differently, but there is a piece of you in every single role that you play. You can't get away from yourself too much. I mean, you can try, you can, play a character that's very, very far from you, but the core of the character is always going to be, for me, Kerr. So, there were parts of me in Jack. There were parts of me in Holden Honey in Riverdale. There were parts of me in Carter Horton in Final Destination. I mean, there are parts of me in every movie or every project that you do. So I can't really go, okay, one, two, three,
Mhm.
any more than all of them, across the board. Um, I'm trying to think if there's actually one project that I just go, yeah, that was me. And I honestly can't totally, because I always try and put a little spin on the character, you get away from myself a little bit, but not too much.
Do you have a favorite character that you played? One of yours?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I liked playing Holden Honey a lot in Riverdale. For me, that was a full circle event. It was like all of a sudden I was playing the adult on a Dawson's Creek kind of set. Riverdale was, it's the same producers, so it's the same high school colors, gold and blue, and it was very interesting to be the adult all of a sudden. Um, I would say my favorite character to date would probably be Bobby Wilkerson on a NBC TV show called E-Ring. It was with Ben Bratt and Dennis Hopper, and I was basically a special ops leader that kind of went out, took Dennis Hopper's instructions and went out and just did all this crazy
Mhm.
stuff around the globe, handling terrorism and stuff like that. So I had a lot of training for that particular role by some pretty unique individuals, and I learned a lot. It was really fun to do.
Um, about Jack's sexuality, Jack's storyline, especially his sexuality, sparked strong reaction back then. And you've said that it was a scary period for you, and I can't imagine because you were one of the first to do that on TV. So I do believe that you were brave to do that. Um, but what gives you the strength to keep going and continue telling that story, even though everything happened outside to you, like the strong reactions and all?
Yeah, it was tough back then. For me, I had just landed one of the best roles, in my opinion, back then on television of, joining the hottest new show. It was in
Mhm.
season 2. So the first season, they did a half a season. They did 13 episodes. So I joined in, episode 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, that was like my dream job. It was that, and it was Party of Five too at the time. And I had a Party of Five audition, but I kind of screwed it up, so I didn't get that one. But yeah, so I landed this great role, and then 3, 4 months into it, Kevin Williamson comes down to Wilmington, and he's telling me, "Hey, we want to go down a different avenue with Jack. What do you think? And I could feel it coming because of what you said earlier, that
Hmm. Yeah.
every character represents an aspect of him, and that wasn't represented yet, his sexuality. So I could feel it coming, and it was one of those epic decisions in life, one of those catalytic moments that you will change the course of your life. And obviously, the answer of what I gave him. I did take a day or two and asked everybody that I respected their opinion on, say, hey, what do I do? Because that was a big move
Yeah.
back then. In 1998, if you play a gay character, you run the risk of being typecast pretty heavily.
Hmm.
And I'm sure that happened to me a little bit. Honestly, I'd be the last to know. Typically in this business, you're the last person to know. But I mean, I continued to work, so it wasn't that bad. What was hard for me was just my private life. Everywhere I went, the first question out of somebody's mouth was, "Are you really gay?" And as a straight man, back in the '90s, that is a very difficult thing to deal with, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say I am very proud of what we accomplished with that storyline, because back then, yeah, it was hard, but we paved the way for what is now completely accepted. In television, every show you have has a gay character on
Yeah.
it, pretty much.
Hmm.
So, and it's normal now. So that was the goal, and pretty proud of that. We all are.
I call this show the spark because of something that happened in my life years ago. It wasn't a big thing, like really, really small, honestly, but that led me here today. And I call it my spark moment. And to me, it's the idea that even small events, choices, or encounters that you make can completely change the course of our lives, like starting something that we never saw coming. And I'm telling this to you now because for many people, especially in the LGBTQ plus community, your portrayal of Jack McPhee, was their spark moment because it gave them representation and helped them on their own journey to accept themselves. And first, thank you for that because I think that's an amazing impact to have on people's lives. And I'd love to ask another deep question, but what would you say has been one of your spark moments? Like it doesn't have to be career related, but just something that may have seemed small at the time, but ended up changing something for you or everything for you.
Yeah, your spark moment I call a catalytic moment, and you're right. I do believe that before we come to this place, we pick a bunch of catalytic events that are going to happen in our life, and you make the choice. You have the free will to make the
Mhm.
choice of what happens. So these are really big splits in the road in your life. And I mean, obviously a big one was the choice to play that character. I could have said no.
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened. I probably would have gotten pushed to the back instead of getting the best of Kevin Williamson's writing at the time. um, but I didn't do that. I chose the path that I chose, and like I said before, I'm pretty happy with that choice. There are many other choices in your life. I mean, anytime I'm trying to think of like a small choice, and honestly, you can't answer that because every single decision you make every day, whether I'm going to walk downstairs right now and or stay in my room, I could trip on the stairs and break my leg, and that affects the rest of my life. I mean, you just don't know. Every single choice has monumental consequences. So I don't think that there are any
Mhm.
small spark moments. I think every single choice you make is a spark moment.
Well, that's a great answer. Thank you for sharing that. Great one, yeah. And I kind of think that you're right. But yeah, I do have one last question and then I'll let you go. I've heard that you are a big manifester, if we can say that, and that you have manifested Dawson's Creek back in the 90s, early, yeah, it wasn't in the 90s, right?
It was 90. I guess it would have been 90. Oh, it would have been 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 98, if you could manifest your ideal project right now, like a show or a film or anything else, what would it look like?
Yeah, my ideal project, you're probably not gonna like it, but I am a huge sci-fi guy.
Okay.
I love Star Trek specifically, and when I do these cons every once in a while, and a lot of the Star Trek guys are there. Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner and all those guys. And it's always a big thrill for me. But the one thing I've never done in my career is any kind of sci-fi. And even, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done it, even though I loved it, because again, you can get stereotyped very easily. And that's pretty much all you're doing the rest of your career. I look back now and I go, well, I should have, because I wouldn't mind that. So to answer your question, yeah, I would love to do some kind of sci-fi. If I could, my dream role would be the captain of one of the captains of the USS Enterprise. That would be my dream role.
Well, let's
I
manifest that maybe in a year or two, you're gonna be the captain of the ship.
I've been putting it out there. I honestly have. So hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wish that it's gonna come right for you. But first, like, I wish that you can have a huge success with your book. I can't wait to read it. And so, yeah, thank you for your time. It was great to connect with you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a pleasure. And thanks for having me.